the NBA are not ready for the Golden State Warriors. As you all know, the Warriors have made some big changes this offseason, so in today's video we're going to be going through 5 big moves that they are currently making and have made this offseason that will not only make them a better team, but will help them win another NBA championship. So make sure to like this video, and guys, 92% of you are still not subscribed to the channel, so it'd mean the world if you could subscribe to the channel, hitting that red button down below. The first is Chris Paul joining the Golden State Warriors. Now, as you all know, this trade absolutely shocked the NBA because Chris Paul will now be playing for the Golden State Warriors, and this is honestly fantastic for what they are trying to achieve. Now, Chris Paul last season actually averaged 13.9 points, 8.9 assists, and also 4.3 rebounds, and on top of that, he also shot 38% from the 3 and also 50% as an effective field goal percentage. So he did a fantastic job last season for the Phoenix Suns, but I do believe that Chris Paul is going to have a huge impact in what the Warriors are trying to achieve. The Warriors are looking to win another championship as soon as possible, as Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and others are also in their peak years, and it is looking like Chris Paul could be the missing piece that they definitely need. As you all know, in the most recent playoff run, we did end up losing to the Los Angeles Lakers, but the biggest problem that they did have was that second unit not having enough depth and not having a scoring leader. Now, because of that, we did trade Jordan Poole in order to get Chris Paul, but I think Chris Paul can definitely fill the shoes that Jordan Poole was supposed to fill. Although CP3 only stands at 6 foot 175 pounds and is 38 years old, I do believe that Chris Paul is probably the smartest player in the league right now, and he knows what it takes to win. He's a 12-time All-Star, 5-time assist champ, and 11-time All-NBA, and I think he will continue to surprise a lot of people even though he is 38 years of age. I think he has a lot to give, and I think he can do a fantastic job at leading that second unit and really adding more structure to what the second unit are trying to do. I believe that the Golden State Warriors definitely have the starting 5 already down packed, but what they were missing, especially in the most recent playoff run, was definitely a second unit that can really hold its own, and I think Chris Paul can definitely provide that. We probably will see CP3 coming off the bench and being that point guard for that second unit, and I think he can do a fantastic job with other players such as Dante DiVincenzo, Gary Payton II, and also the other younger guys to really help them and to achieve what they want to achieve. And I do believe that when it comes to CP3, although he doesn't have championship experience in a sense of winning an NBA championship, he has been to the finals and he has a lot of playoff experience at that. His most vital asset that he can bring to this team is definitely his playmaking ability. As you all know, the Warriors' main playmaker is their power forward, which is Draymond Green, and as Steph Curry is more of a scoring point guard, I think it is fantastic to add a point guard that actually does a lot of the playmaking and can really run the floor very efficiently, and that's what Chris Paul does very, very well. He likes to play a very structured offense, which I think is fantastic, and I think it would mess well with the free flow game style that the Golden State Warriors like to run. So the fact that they have both sides, you know, Chris Paul who likes to play more organized basketball, and you have other players like Steph Curry who likes to play more free flow, I think it will be a recipe for success, as other teams won't be able to understand how to actually defend this starting 5, and also if Chris Paul coming off the bench. The second is that it's been stated that Draymond Green is most likely to come back to the Golden State Warriors. Now, as you all know, Draymond Green actually declined his player option for this offseason. However, one of the reasons for that was because he wanted to get a new contract that has a more of a 3 to 4 year timeline. So he's actually willing and is ready to sign back up with the Golden State Warriors under a new contract, and I think it's honestly fantastic to keep Draymond in a Golden State Warriors uniform. As you all know, Draymond Green stands like 6'6", 230 pounds, and at 33 years of age, I think he still has a lot to give left to this game. He's a 4-time All-Star, 4-time NBA champ, and 2-time All-NBA, and when it comes to this season, he averaged 8.5 points, 6.8 assists, and 7.2 rebounds. Now, it may not sound like NBA superstar stats, but I'm telling you right now, what Draymond Green does out there, not only just for the team, but also for himself, has honestly been so respectable and some of the greatest basketball, especially high efficient basketball we have seen. When it comes to Draymond, what he really does provide for this team is definitely his defensive ability. It doesn't show up on the stat sheet, but the amount of contests, high IQ plays, and also just defensive matchups that he actually leads, I think Draymond Green is the defensive anchor for this Warriors team. And I think it is fantastic that the Warriors have also seen that and are willing to keep him no matter what happens. Now, Green still has a lot left to give, even though he is at 33 years of age. I still think that his play style isn't really too much based on athleticism, and that's why he's been such a efficient player ever since till today. He definitely is still in those peak years, and I think he still has a lot left to give, and I don't see him slowing down anytime soon. Now, when it comes to his field goal percentage, it's actually surprising that not many people know, but he has effective effective field goal percentage of 57%, which I think is great, but what he really does provide also is that playmaking for that starting five. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, they're the greatest shooters alive, and the thing that comes with shooters is that they are mainly scorers, and that's what Draymond really does provide that not many other power forward can replace if they decide to go with someone else. Draymond provides that playmaking that is definitely needed in order to get Steph open, Klay open, and even other players. If they did lose someone like Draymond, there really isn't someone that can replace him that has that amount of playmaking ability and can also defend 1 through 5 like Draymond. So I think his role definitely does fit with what the Warriors are trying to do, and keeping him in the roster is definitely going to pay dividends, and they do have a great shot at winning another NBA championship very, very soon. The third is Golden State Warriors signing Trayce Jackson-Davis. Now I think this is honestly fantastic because TJD has actually done a fantastic job at impressing the Golden State Warriors, as he has recently signed a small contract with them. Now Warriors are actually planning to use him actually as soon as possible, and I think it is fantastic to get somewhat of Trayce Jackson-Davis's ability, especially with what he's able to do out there on the floor. Now Davis is a 6'9", 245 pounds athletic freak, and also did a fantastic job as an RSCI top 100 and was ranked 26 in 2019. So he did a fantastic job throughout his college career, earning 4-time All Big Ten, which I think is great, consensus AAA, 2-time Big Ten All Defense. So he definitely has that defense, he has the offense, and I think he can provide a lot for this team. Now a lot of NBA coaches actually during the draft said that Trayce Jackson-Davis was actually the biggest steal of the draft, and I do believe that the Warriors got themselves a very good hand. Now TDJ actually averaged 20.9 points, 10.8 rebounds, and 4 assists, which I think was great. What I love most about his game is definitely that he can do everything out there, which I think is great. Now when it comes to his 3-point percentage, he doesn't really shoot a lot of threes, but his inside presence is definitely felt because he had a 2-point percentage of 60% in the most recent season with Indiana. I think it's great that he also came from a college of Indiana, which play very much mature basketball and NBA style basketball, so he shouldn't have any problem actually converting over his game style or his game over into the NBA and also into the Warriors system. What I love most about him is that the Golden State Warriors definitely needed a forward, and Trayce Jackson-Davis definitely provides that. Davis, like I mentioned, 6'9", he's definitely a big power forward or center, and I do believe he has the capabilities, especially the athleticism side of things, to be able to keep up with some of the best. He has that scoring ability, which I think is fantastic. His inside presence is definitely something that the Warriors definitely need. We have Kevon Looney, who's a great big man. However, he doesn't really have too much of a scoring ability. Yes, he can give you 10-15 points here and there, usually off second chance buckets, but I think what TJD definitely does bring to this team is a lot of scoring, but his capability to actually have great post moves, be able to get to the bucket, and has that soft touch around the rim. And on top of that, great rebounding ability is always needed, and I think that's something that the Golden State Warriors definitely needed, especially in the most recent playoff series against the Los Angeles Lakers. It seemed that LeBron, Anthony Davis, and everyone else in that team was too much when it came to rebounding for Golden State Warriors to handle. So the fact that Warriors were able to get Davis for very cheap, I think would honestly be really good to see how he does this upcoming season, because I think he's going to surprise a lot of the NBA. The fourth is that Andrew Wiggins is finally back at full effect. Now, as you all know, Andrew Wiggins did play the playoffs, but you do have to realize that he missed more than half of the season, and he was coming back playing pretty much no basketball for the second half of that regular season. So I think it's so important to see that Andrew Wiggins is finally back, going to be playing all 82 games if possible, and he's going to be able to have a huge effect on what the Warriors are trying to achieve. As you all know, Andrew Wiggins stands at 6'7", 197 pounds, and is still only 28 years of age. He's a one-time All-Star, 2022 NBA champion, and he also won Rookie of the Year. Now, what I love most about Andrew Wiggins is that even though he only played 37 games, so less than half of the season, he still averaged 17.1 points, 5 rebounds, and also 2.3 assists. And his 3-point percentage still remained a very high 40% and an effective field goal percentage of 56% as well. Now, I think this came to everyone's surprise, but Andrew Wiggins did actually play during the playoffs, but he wasn't up to that standard or had that same defensive effect that he did have, especially in the time that they did win the NBA championship. But I do believe, he did only play 37 games, and I think you have to give him the benefit of the doubt with everything that is going on in his life, especially during that time. So I do believe now that he is back in full effect, he's going to have a huge advantage when it comes to him playing with the Golden State Warriors, and I definitely see this upcoming team as an NBA championship team. Wiggins Wiggins is going to be able to come back in full effect and provide what this Golden State Warriors team definitely needs, and it's definitely an athletic wing that Golden State Warriors Steph Curry or also Klay Thompson can pass to on a regular basis. Wiggins can definitely give you a bucket now, and the fact that he's such a high 3-point percentage shooter, he was actually ranked second in the highest 3-point percentage out of all Golden State Warriors player. I think it is fantastic to see that Wiggins will be able to adjust and be that main guy that they definitely need him to be. When it comes to Wiggins as well, his defensive ability that doesn't show up on the stat sheet is definitely not unrecognized. He does a great job, and I think if they have him continuing to play some of the best players and defend them, he can honestly lock anyone and everyone down. The fifth is that the Golden State Warriors can still sign one more big free agent this offseason. Now, I think this came to everyone's surprise, but even though Draymond Green is getting a new contract, it is said that Draymond is willing to take a pay cut, and also Klay Thompson has been in the interest of signing a new contract that would give him a pay cut as well. And if that's the case, the Golden State Warriors would be able to get someone in the free agency of around 10 to 12 million. And a name that has come up that a lot of people are very interested in is reuniting with Kelly Oubre Jr. Now, as you all know, Kelly Oubre Jr. did play with the Golden State Warriors and he did a fantastic job. However, during that time, that's when everyone was injured, and I think Kelly Oubre definitely does deserve a second chance. I think Oubre can still provide a lot to a team. He's still only 27 years of age, so still is a very young player, 6'7", 203 pounds, and he also averaged 20 points, 5.2 rebounds, and 1.1 assists with the Charlotte Hornets. So I definitely think he could be a perfect fit for what the Warriors are trying to do, especially now, and he could help them win another NBA championship.